Okay, let's go.
We are still on the defensive driving series. Next on the bill, we have A for anticipation. Now, anticipation basically means being aware of potential hazards on the way as you are driving, and then taking proactive steps to be able to mitigate them or avoid them as much as possible. Now, your ability to anticipate potential danger is going to save you a whole lot as a driver. Now, some of you drive very absent-minded. You see things on the road that are potential hazards, but you're not able to even identify it as a hazard, and you're just going. Before you realize someone is in a gutter, someone has hit the back of someone's car, someone has, scratched his car against the pole, something. All this because of what? A lack of anticipation. I mentioned earlier that everything that we are looking at in the acronym codes ties into each other. So before you can basically spot a potential danger, obviously then you are still what? Fully focused on the road. You are observing all road users and obstacles and scenarios on the road. And then the next thing is what? You are anticipating potential danger surrounding the road. Now, when you are driving, there are certain things that you should be able to easily predict. Now, when it comes to your ability to anticipate danger, your environment counts a lot. That is why the fact that you can drive somewhere doesn't mean that you can drive elsewhere. Let me give you an example. If you've ever lived in the States before, or driven in the States or the UK or any of these European countries where the laws actually work, you realize that there's a lot of sanity on the road. So when you're anticipating danger, usually in terms of the risk on the road, it is very low. But if you drive in areas like Accra, or you've driven in Lagos before, you realize that the danger is more. I mean, the areas that I just mentioned right now are basically like jungles. Everyone does what they want. So the level of threat or danger on the road is much higher. That is why sometimes some of you folks that drive in maybe the UK, the US, Canada, the UK, you come to Ghana, or sometimes you travel to Lagos, and then they look at the whole road and they are scared. People who have been driving for years, so the moment they see the level of risk on our roads, they are panicking, they are petrified, and they are even afraid to drive here. And what is the difference? Here, the dangers are more, so you need to be more alert to be able to anticipate danger. So sometimes I say, if you're able to drive in Accra very well, or maybe drive in Lagos very well, I don't think there's anywhere in the world you wouldn't be able to drive, because here like I said, it's like a jungle, and if you are able to anticipate danger here and stay alert the whole time you are driving, I don't know where else you will not be able to drive. So that is that. Now, when you start driving in, Accra, for instance, there are a lot of things that you can easily pick up from experience. Let's say you are driving behind a commercial vehicle, whether trotro or taxi. Occasionally, you realize that they stop at any point in time to pick or alight a passenger. You and I are used to it by now. So when you are following them, you have that at the back of your mind. You anticipate them stopping or slowing down at any point in time. You are driving through a busy area. My office is around, in fact, my office is in Chado, right behind Trade Fair. And I drive through Labadi Township a lot. And those areas, the people treat the road as if the road is part of their house. It's almost like a compound in their house or their veranda. They literally cross the road anyhow without even checking. So if you are used to such a place, you are able to anticipate things like this happening. But when you go to certain areas, you don't experience that a lot. So one thing that will make you a good driver is also knowing your environment. And if you are not very familiar with a particular environment you are going to drive in, then you need to take it slow, for the very first time when you are approaching such a place, because you might not know the dangers in that particular environment. Anticipation, like I said, is the key to defensive driving. So when you are driving, don't let anything pass you by. Be fully focused, observe everything on the road, and then as you are seeing, especially when you're approaching, let's say, intersections, you know that not everyone knows right of way rules. Maybe you know it and you want to apply it. One tip is that don't always insist on your right of way, because not everyone knows them. In some scenarios, you might be the one who has right of way to go first, but the one coming, you can't tell whether he or she knows or not. So don't insist on it and then go, and then an accident will occur. If an accident should occur, then of course he is going to be blamed and he will pay for the damages if any are caused. But at the end of the day, you are also risking your life and your own safety. You know, a lot of these motorcyclists and tricycle riders, anytime they are moving, you realize most of them don't have rear view mirrors, so they can't even see anything behind them. So when you are overtaking, you need to be very careful. Sometimes you are right behind them and their intention is to maybe branch, maybe left or right. Now, because they can't see you, sometimes they have to look over their shoulder. Sometimes someone sitting by them has to check for them before they move. Now, anytime you are following them, like I said, always be on alert. Anticipate that they could branch or anything. So before you make the move, you can use your horn to get their attention and then you move. But make sure there's some level of communication there before you maneuver around them. You had, especially kids. Kids don't know how to cross the road. In fact, most of them actually run. So even if the whole world freezes and stops for them, you realize that when they are crossing the road, they always run because of that fear of what, being hit by a vehicle. So anytime you are driving and you see a child standing by the roadside, you need to anticipate this. They are mostly very afraid to cross the road on their own. So they are likely to run if anything. So as you are approaching, you can be considerate and stop and allow them to cross before you go. And as you are approaching, you can also anticipate that they could easily run across the road. So you approach with some level of caution. If you are driving and there's someone in front of you and you are all approaching a traffic light, which is, maybe transitioning to red, or there's a speed ramp in front of you, you should anticipate that the person in front of you is likely to slow down and stop. They don't need to start doing it before you react. You always need to be proactive when it comes to anticipation. Okay. So basically, that's that. I hope you found this video very useful. Drop a like, give me a comment, and I'll be back with more tips like this. For the next video, we are going to look at tolerance, which is basically the last on the defensive driving series. So stay tuned, and I'll be back with more. Bye for now.
But the work is done. It always will